All right. I, like you, am a consumer of media. All right. I consume a lot of it. I am an obese media person. All right. And I'm also obese and just obese in general. But I eat a lot of it. All right. I consume it. Now, one of the media, one thing that I consume in media is Moist Critical. And many people know who Moist Critical is. He is a very popular YouTuber here on the platform. He has a lot of videos out there, a lot from ranging from horror videos, playing horror games to just doing rambling videos and talking about recent gossip and rumors and drama on the internet. All right, he is fantastic. I love him. I highly recommend watching his channel. And I've even made a whole video talking about how much I literally ride his dick. Okay, I love Moist Critical. And one of the things that Moist Critical produces is a podcast called The Official Podcast. Now, I do watch all of the podcast episodes, like all of the other content that he has. It's made with 3 other people besides Moist Critical, and one of these people, his name is Kai. Now, you might have heard about Kai before if you do watch the podcast regularly, like myself, or have ever caught it. He is known as the incel of the group. And this is no secret, okay? Anybody who watches it, you hear his brain dead takes on basically everything. And even like, I actually even saw on H3H3 recently where he actually, they had some drama with him as well. Basically, see, the thing is with Kai is that he is triggered by anything that is remotely left-leaning or, if you're like, I'm pro-feminist, he's like, whoa, okay, snowflake. Wow. So he's not... I don't understand. I mean, I guess they're all friends. Like, no one checks him hardly ever on any of his brain dead takes. And I was sitting watching the podcast. It's podcast 318. It's called No Showers All Stink. Awesome podcast. Really funny. Enjoy it like usual. But in this one, all 4 of them kind of all talk about this subject, that are some of them like weirdly weird takes in general. Like, and I get it. Before I jump into this, like, these are entertainers. They're not Hassan. They're not Vosh, right? Their argument for saying stupid crap like this would probably just be like, hey, we're just entertainers, right? We're making entertaining stuff. We're not professionals. Don't listen to us. But the problem is that whenever you have a brain dead take, like the ones I'm about to show you, is that it starts it starts with like an idea, and it's not anything like new or anything. These are ideas that go through the echo chambers of of many different individuals on the internet and different echo chambers on the internet. But I want to also do my part as somebody who uploads YouTube videos as an entertainer, who to also kind of show some rebuttal, because what I want to point out the fallacies in these arguments before they get too crazy. And I don't think that they will, but I just wanted to show y'all this video and give you my take on it and react to it. I don't know if I'm going to edit this video. I might try to go just through the whole thing. Hi-ho this mother. But we shall see. So let's jump into it. I'm going to put this, bada bing, bada boom. All right, here we go. So this is, again, this is the official podcast, episode 318, No Showers, All Stink.
I always go on these like 3-hour rants about fucking taxes, and my girlfriend, who has the patience of a saint, just listens and nods. It's like, You know the shit about Texas building your roads? It's all a lie. All of your taxes, like, okay, if we take America, for instance, as an example, since most of our audience is American, the American government makes like $4 trillion a year with a T. That's why it's always like really cringy to me when people go on about how we should like liquidate Elon Musk's wealth and kill Jeff Bezos and fucking take Bill Gates' farms away and shit. It's like you could do all of that and it still wouldn't be half of the money that the American government collects in like the span of 6 months.
Okay, so first off, that's not a scam. Taxes do go to pave the roads and to repair the roads and everything like that, right? It's that's how roads, we wouldn't have them without the taxes, right? It's not a scam. Now we can debate high taxes, low taxes, if there's too much. I get that. But then you go in on this Elon Musk, right? So now this is Kai talking. He goes on Elon, says that like, oh, well, people are always after Elon Musk saying if he paid his taxes that we could, that other people have said that we could feed all of the homeless people or some bullshit like that. The thing is like, yeah, maybe like some brain dead person said that out there on the internet. I mean, there's tons of people with tons of different takes out on the internet. That's not the issue with Elon Musk not paying taxes. That is not it. And I don't know where, like, that argument is so stupid in general that I don't know where you would have, I don't know where you're on the internet. I guess probably Twitter, you saw this type of stuff. Elon Musk, him not paying his, what is wrong with Elon Musk not paying his taxes is the fact that somebody, the other people who are making $20,000, $30,000 a year are paying our taxes. That is the issue. We should not be forced to pay our taxes while people like Elon Musk, Jeff Bezos, Trump, all of these rich fuckers are just free to never pay taxes at all. Okay? They should be forced to pay their fair share. We do it, so should they. That is the problem with Elon Musk. Hardly anyone is saying that if Elon Musk paid his taxes, the whole fucking world would be okay. No one says that. And if they do, they're just as stupid as you. I'm saying that it is only fair for them to pay their taxes and give in to the system that has made them who they are today. That is the argument with Elon Musk. I'm going to see if they say anything else on this timestamp.
It also would not even begin to scratch the surface of our debt and how much money we owe to other countries. Like, the economy is far more complicated than, take a billionaire's assets and throw it into it. There's far more things going on than you're thinking about.
Says we should still do that, though, Kai. And look, if you want to do that, sure, go ahead. But what I'm saying is, like who was it, the world's something organization clapped back at Elon on Twitter saying $6 billion could solve world hunger. Like
All right, I don't know who said that. I'm assuming it sounds like maybe something from the World Health Organization, from WHO, but I don't care to look it up, nor do, I mean, a certain amount of money could help like feed somebody could help probably feed a bunch of children for a month or something like that. Right. It's not a permanent fix, but we would have a lot more money to go to the to impoverished neighborhoods and families in the U.S. if in schools and in teachers' pay, right? If if they put in their fair share. So,
do you know how little money $6 billion is? What a pittance it is? That could run the American government for maybe 2 days? Max? Not even. Maybe half a day. It's such little money.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, yeah. Okay.
Compared to where your taxes actually go. Think about it. Everything is really funded on a local level. You guys remember when the government shut down in America? Because Trump had a hissy fit or something and the government shut down for a month and everybody was like, oh yeah, posts aren't gonna get delivered or whatever the fuck.
Didn't that only affect national parks?
Nothing. No.
Okay, also, I do want to mention here also, Kai is not an American. So whenever he says we, like my taxes, he's not paying those taxes. Okay. He's not even an American. Now, he has a right to talk about American politics, right? Like, I would never say that, like, if anybody ever told me that I don't have a right to talk about other governments, I'd say, like, okay, well, fuck you. Like, yeah, I do have a right to talk about. So I'm not going to say that, like, totally. But, like, whenever it's weird, it is weird to me that he's triggered by these things when he doesn't live here. It is very weird because he's not talking about this objectively. It's like he's personally affected by this. And at least I don't think, maybe I got something wrong and maybe he does live in America, but the last thing I heard, he does not. I think he's Turkish. I don't know where he lives now. He might live in I don't know. I don't know where he lives. But from what I understand, he does not live in America. So it's kind of wild to me that he keeps saying we. And it's wild to me that he gets this triggered over things like this because this is not your tax system. I don't know. It's interesting.
Not even, because they still had continued funding until a certain point. They don't run out of money in like within a month. But even then, like, okay, your roads are paved. You call the cops, they still show up. The fire department still works. The schools are still open. And at some point you realize, oh, wait, all of this shit is actually funded on a state level. So what does the federal government actually do? Well, it turns out they actually just pay politicians and they pay 3-letter agencies.
Okay. So, right. Roads are paved, right? Yes. But they need maintained. And it's not just that. Every single year, we have things that we have to pay for. It's not just like permanent structures, right? You don't just, and I'm not like, look, I'm trying also my best not to just like dick ride the government, right? Like obviously there's problems with our government, but to say like, this is it's hinting on this like conservative, like no taxes policies, like how like that's like the platform that conservatives run on these days is just like, we want zero taxes. And then like, what do you like? They all know that that's impossible, but okay. And then how would you get to work? Because the thing is, roads are maintained, right? Teacher salaries we have to budget those every single year. It's not a one-time fix. You don't pay teachers once and they're paid for life. Okay, that's not how this is how like basic capitalism works, even in general. Like it's basic government as well, but it's like, even if you talk about a business, like you have to make that money to keep paying your employees every month. I don't know. It's weird to me. Now, I'm going to skip ahead because I'm already ranting too long. So we're going to skip ahead to the next timestamp I have. Yeah.
Yes, sir.
All right. Now we can continue.
One thing I wanted to say, though, is like this. I don't like this excuse that government is that's just how it is. It's inefficient and shitty and we can't track everything. No, look, again, the example of, you know how Elon came and fired like 80% of that one fucking company and it still works? And no one even noticed the goddamn difference. In fact, it works kind of faster now. Imagine what you could do with the government. Get rid of...
So he does often... I have heard him be critical of Elon at times, but for the most part, he is like an Elon, like he is stroking it. Like, I'm curious to see like how wide his butthole is from Elon just ramming that sucker in there. That he loves Elon. I'm confused at this. Like, when Elon took over Twitter, it was a shit show. Horrible ideas. Really not good. I'm not on Twitter enough to really say how it is now, but firing all those people could have. Yeah, maybe it did. I don't know. Even if it is, to compare that to a way bigger and more complicated government is completely different. And yeah, like there are a lot of like government jobs, right, that we probably shouldn't have. All right. Our government is big, but I do think like we should have a bigger government in areas that suffice. Like, for instance, if we could ever socialize healthcare, we should have a bigger government, because those jobs that we would have to make institutions to and like call centers and customer service support for health insurance. So in that way, we should be adding jobs to the government if we could ever get to that point. But that's like an example of that. But other than that, I'm always confused why he's just part of like the Elon Dick Rider train, and it is what it is. Like, that's just, yeah.
Rid of like 80% of these fucking mooches.
So, Kai, are you going to start
politicians?
Are you going to start your blues band now, where you talk about how you have no money because of the government, and join the millions and millions of other songs that went out there?
I don't know what that's a reference to.
I don't know, just the fact that it's the fact that you're going alongside how people have been bitching about the government inefficiency since like government has existed.
I know.
Yeah.
I know, but it's like people just accept it when it shouldn't have to be that way.
Kai is not mad about paying them money.
About it, but
Kai?
Yeah, it doesn't. I get that. Like, it doesn't need to be that way, but there are things that we can do, and that's okay. Like, if I agree, like, I don't think anybody on either party or anybody would ever disagree with that. Like, it's just like, we just accept the government for what it is. No, we want change, right? Both sides want change. Even the Republicans, who are the party of, they want of yesteryear, the party of the good old party, even they want change in their government, right? But I just don't. Yeah, you do that, but you don't do that by giving out excuses for billionaires. That is not how you create change. Yeah.
Guy's not mad about paying the government money, although I guess he is to some level, but
to a degree.
Like, mostly mad about how like inefficiently is spent. Yeah.
I should have a say in where it goes. I know you can elect your leaders, supposedly, but that's a fucking spook. That's not really true.
Yeah, that's a big scam.
All right. Okay. All right. No. No, that's not a scam. And also, that's dangerous rhetoric, too. I will throw that in on there. Now, first off, Koi Kai, that's one of my friends. Kai, you don't know what you're talking about. But it's not a scam. We have elections, and your vote does count. Now, you can say it's a scam about like electing the president with the Electoral College. All right, I get that, and I understand that. That is really a shitty system, and it is sort of a scam in a way. Because we should, but when you're talking about other elections, the only type of way that you can maybe say it's a scam is by like saying, I guess because of like, I don't know, gerrymandering. Maybe that's the only thing I can think of off the top of my head where it's like a scam, right? Voting is not a scam. Elections are not a scam. And it is, in today's world, that's really dangerous rhetoric to be putting out there. And it's super irresponsible of them to say stuff like that. It's not a scam. As somebody who's worked in politics for many years, I cannot tell you how many times my races have come down to, races that I've been involved in have come down to 3 or 4 or 5 votes. And we're talking like big races too. Because I've worked on everything from congressional, senatorial to governor races, AG races, to school board races. And your vote don't the fact that they put out there I've already had friends who have said that I have had to convince otherwise, because they hear the Electoral College and for some reason they relate that to everything. That's only for one type of election. All right, like we're talking about other elections where the popular vote does count. Anyway, so I wanted to throw that again. Like, I don't know why they would say crap, but it's bullshit.
I should have to get a say where my taxes actually go. When I file my taxes, I should get a say in, okay, I want whatever the fuck I pay this month. I want that to go to school lunches, to actual, okay, poor children, buy them shoes or some shit. Do that. Hire teachers. I don't want it to go to war, for instance. Yeah,
this is such like a little baby thing to say. Like, I should tell the government where to put my money at. Okay. There are 300 and some odd millions of Americans, right? I don't know how many of those pay taxes, how many of those are working, 16 and up people. But can you see for a second how that might be a little bit hard to do? Can you see how taking in that many people is a little bit hard to do, which is why we have elections? And granted, yes, going back to the election stuff, gerrymandering is a thing, redistricting is a thing, right? Making right-wing states coming out with voter laws is a thing that desperately do hammer on hindering black and POC voters. Yes, that is a thing. But that's why we have to have elections so that you can tell your representative where you want your funds going. We already have it. Does it work? No, it's not great. But can you see how we take individual people? That's an issue, right? Like, you can't do that. That's impossible. It's dumb. It's stupid. Okay, anyway.
Leaving that up to like the general population is kind of sketchy, because then you'll get people funding like local NASCAR teams or something. Like it could go anywhere.
You give them a list of options. You can't just say like, I want this to go to my house. Like you tell them like what they can vote on.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, like Charlie just said, that's exactly that's kind of my point. Now I think I've already hit the next. I'm gonna move on here. 1551. I've already listened to that, and then all right, let's.
It's so dumb. Oh my god. Go ahead.
I was gonna say, do you guys think that politicians should be paid?
No, that was exactly what I was just about to say. Minimum wage max upper limits.
I was gonna say, okay, so here's my hypothesis or theory or whatever. All right, how about we pay them after the fact, after the 4 years or however long their service is, and then we have a massive vote as to how much they should be paid, depending on like the quality of their service. That's pretty good, right?
Yeah. The way I look at it is, if you're in politics, you should be in politics because of trying to make the community or the state better. It shouldn't be a money-driven position.
So
okay, yeah, like no one's arguing that this should be a money-driven position, right? I do think here is the issue with not paying politicians. All right, if anybody thinks that this is a good idea, slow your fucking roll and listen to me for a second. The issue with not paying politicians is that it limits, because there are places where people who run for office cannot have a job. They are not allowed to have a job. And normal Americans don't have a job where they can just pick up and leave during session, right? Most Americans don't live that way. And whenever you take away the pay, you make it impossible for people who are not people who are actually struggling in life, or people who are just the average American worker. You take that privilege of running for office, that freedom of America, away from them, because they can no longer support themselves. So how can they ever run for office? It makes it to where only very wealthy, in the upper middle class and upper class, upper middle class and the upper class, the 1%ers, not even that, but just the well-off Americans can only run for office. Now, states have done this already. Because, yes, I understand the theory of, not paying your politicians. You're supposed to be a servant. That does sound appealing. However, if you look at places such as Texas, who doesn't pay them, I forget what they pay them. it's something. It's like nothing. They don't pay them hardly anything. The lower the pay, the least likely average hardworking Americans are able to run for office. Do you understand that is an issue, right? We already have so many millionaires and in office that it's disgusting. All right, it's gross, but I definitely think that like senators should not be paid what they're paid. I definitely don't think that U.S. representatives should be paid what they're paid. I think it should be lower. But they should at least be able to live and feed their family off of what they make. Yes, of course, Charlie, like, yes, it should be off of people who want to make a difference in American politics, right? You should want to make a difference in your community, in your state, and in your country. However, there's no way to gauge that. All you can do is hear what people say, okay? So that's almost like a moot point, because the things that people say who really do care about their communities and the people that just want power, they say the same things because they know how to get elected. All right? And honestly, I'd probably even argue that people who just want power probably know how to get elected better than people. I mean, if you look at our government now. So I think what you're saying, I get what you're saying, but you see how that would create a system where an unequal system, basically, to where only rich people can now run for office, while poor people can't afford to just leave their job at Walmart. They can't afford to leave their job as a farmer, right? They can't do that to go run for office then if they were paid nothing or paid minimum wage, which, by the way, Kai, I don't know if you know this because, you're not an American. So I don't know if you know this, but like minimum wage here is almost nothing. Like it is shit. It's like the U.S. minimum wage, I think, is like $7, and I forget what it is at now, but it's nothing. You can't afford anything. Even if I worked full time on $7 and some odd cents, I couldn't even afford my rent a month, and that just one bill. I couldn't afford that. All right, so I understand because of thinking of our politicians, who they are today. Yes, a lot of them are well off, and they do make some arguments here in a little bit about like how the president makes so much money, how, Obama's worth all this money now, right? But Obama hasn't always made all that money then, all right? Yeah, he has all of this money now because he's done book deals and all these other things, and that is the main purpose of it. I should let them finish before I go in.
Here's the problem with all of this, though. Here's the problem with all of this. All of the high-level government officials are already billionaires, so who cares? They don't care what they get paid. It does not matter to them.
That's my problem. Even when they're not billionaires, here's my system that I would ideally like to see.
Yeah.
They're not all millionaires. Yeah, they're not. The ones that are very prominent and who get a lot of press coverage, a lot of them are, yes. But no, not. They're not.
Yeah.
If you have no other job, no other income, you get minimum wage. If you have any other income, fuck you, the taxpayer doesn't pay you a single cent. I still remember when people were praising Trump because...
Okay, keep in mind, all right, I get that, but what would happen even if you made just a little bit of money, if the taxpayer doesn't pay you anything, how are you ever supposed to run for office? All right? Like, yeah.
I think he gave his official presidential salary to charity or some shit, which is okay, that's nice, but do you see why he shouldn't that's not something that deserves praise. He shouldn't have been paid in the first place.
Here's the thing with the presidential salary. The presidential salary for the most powerful man in America is set at, I believe, $400,000 a year. I think it's a hard limit defined by laws. You cannot get paid more to do
why?
it. Well,
okay, so you should look at the guy and you should determine, hey, does this person already own more than $400,000 a year? Does he earn more than that? Okay, then why the fuck should the taxpayer pay you, right? Look at any...
I mean, I do agree with that to an extent. I don't think... I do agree, hey, if you're already well off, then I don't know. Because you got to remember that money that you earn as president, it literally just sits there. Like everything is already paid for you. That money doesn't go to anything except for, I think if you have like parties at the White House and like certain things like that. I think that's the only time, but like your airfare, all of that shit, you don't pay for any of that. That all already comes out of the taxpayers' dollars. So I think for positions like the presidency, yeah, but again, that's like the minority, like that's one out of how many, like, you know, how many officials out there, if you're talking about state, federal, like local, county governments, like, dude, yeah.
Goddamn politician nowadays. They have Netflix movie documentary deals. They have book deals. They're on fucking Twitter shilling shit. They have podcasts. It's like they're influencers, dude. They're playing fucking video games on Twitch. Like,
you just have to be married to them. Like Michelle Obama was selling out arena tours.
They're doing all of that kind of because they're campaigning. They're campaigning and they're getting their vote and message out there and whatever.
They're doing this even after they campaign. Like, look at Obama. Obama's net worth currently is like in the 70 million.
Okay, and then it just goes on to just BS. It's okay. Like, yeah, cool. Like, Obama, they weren't campaigning. I don't know what the hell that they were thinking about with Michelle Obama, but yeah, like, yeah, and Obama's an ex-president. Like, yeah, he's going to make book deals and stuff. Who fucking cares? Like, why are you arguing about like what he's worth now? He hasn't been president in forever. Like, it's been how long now? Like 6 years since he was president? Yeah. Oh my God, I'm getting old. Anyway, all right. But anyway, I wanted to go over these with you. Again, nothing but love for the official podcast. I know it doesn't sound like it, but it is an awesome podcast. Definitely go check it out. I just think that Kai is an incel and a moron. And I will always... So if you picked anything out of this is that Kai is an idiot and Moist critical. I will ride his dick till the end of time. The other two, I do really... enjoy the guy that was on the top. I forget what his name is, but anyway, yeah. So I wanted to just kind of outline these few points that they were making and kind of give you an alternative to them and why they are bad ideas. For one, like trying to say where your tax money is going to. Come on, dude. They're out of hundreds of millions of people. That's not going to work. Okay. We elect people. That's how it works. Elections are not a scam. That's really dangerous rhetoric. And we shouldn't be that, like, you should know better than to do that. You know, like with all the election fraud bullshit that's out there right now, like people calling fake election and stuff, you should know better. And that's really neglectful. But also, like, yeah, like if you would have made the argument, like, yeah, because of gerrymandering, because of redistricting, because of whatever, and all these things that like each party tries to do to restrict other people's votes and how they kind of manipulate the system. Okay, I agree with that. It doesn't stop it from elections being elections and them actually mattering and them actually counting, right? And that your vote does matter. And then finally, politicians should definitely stay being paid. I think that they should lower how much politicians are making, but they should be able to pay for their family, their house, whatever lifestyle that they have, like, you know, with limits. But yes, they should make money because that's the only way that we're going to get people who are just average common Americans. That's the only way that we're going to be able to get true leaders to run for office is by making sure that they are paid for and that they don't have to suffer by leaving their current job in order to run. Wouldn't that be some shit if, like, That'd be some shit if like you ran for office and like, all right, now we're gonna do like the traditional of moving back in with the parents, now that I'm this highly, yeah, I don't know. Anyway, I wanted to show y'all this. I hope you enjoyed the video. Thank you for watching. Definitely go check out the official podcast and make sure you click subscribe and hit that like button and all that good shit if you like this. I'm going to post more rambling videos in the future. I think I did this without editing. Hopefully. We'll see. I'm going to watch this back and see how bad it is. But I hope you enjoyed it. Have a good night. Sweet dreams. I will talk to you next time. Thank you for watching the Newds. Bye.